In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you the vibration of the law of attraction, going beyond that which we've heard before to understand the manifestation process in a totally new way. Welcome back to another video. My name's Aaron and I help people expand their consciousness. Now in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you that of understanding more about the vibration of the law of attraction itself. Understanding that we use this powerful tool in our lives, in our daily lives, whether we are aware of it or not. However, the angle that I want to show it to you is how you can raise your vibration towards the law of attraction so that it works even better for you, but so that at the same time you're able to elevate your consciousness and raise your vibration. Now, the reason I'm making this video as well is because some people on my channel might wonder why it is that I used to make so many law of attraction videos, but now I don't make as many as I used to. And most of that has to do with my YouTube channel is a direct reflection of where I currently am. Now, it doesn't mean that I'm not using the law of attraction, but what it means is I've been focused in a different way, and because of that, the information I've been sharing has been in alignment with that. Now, part of that, though, has to do with understanding that there is something that is beyond the law of attraction. Now, yes, whatever we think about, we attract more of. The people that we are in vibrational resonance with, we will have in our lives. And it's about understanding the vibration of the law of attraction in relation to different levels of consciousness. Because inevitably what eventually happens is people move beyond the law of attraction and into a higher vibration to where the law of attraction isn't something that has to be practiced so much. Now, maybe you've seen me share before the levels of consciousness from power versus force, and I'll show that to you right here. This is the chart of consciousness that is from the book called Power versus Force by Dr. David Hawkins. I've referred to it in many videos, and a lot of it has to do with understanding different vibrational calibrations. Everything calibrates at a certain frequency, and using this map, using this scale, we can use this scale as a signpost to see what different things resonate as. Now you'll notice that there's lower vibrational emotions such as shame, fear, guilt, anger. Then you'll see that of neutrality, which is where we learn how to observe our thoughts. And then eventually you'll see that of willingness, and then reasoning, which is the intellect, which is the mind, and then love. Love is the heart center. Then joy, peace, and enlightenment. Everyone will resonate within a certain frequency range in their life. And enlightened people, the reason they're able to do things that we consider to be magical is because they're of such a high vibration, and they realize one of the truths of life that allows them to then do things like have objects instantly appear, as in the book The Autobiography of a Yogi by Paramahansa Yogananda, or levitate, or do something that bends the laws of physics. They're able to do that because they're of such a high vibrational state of consciousness. However, they're not doing that with the same reasoning that somebody at the lower end of the scale would do something like that. Somebody at the lower end of the scale may do something like that because of the notoriety they get, the fame they may get, the recognition, the significance they may get. So this is about understanding that the vibration of the law of attraction resonates at a certain frequency, but when you go beyond that, it no longer is as relevant anymore. Now, as you're raising your vibration, which is something that I've been focused on, and I've been focused on helping other people do as well, as raise their vibration, we must understand that 90-something% of people that you're using the law of attraction are using it to enhance some type of egoic desire. Now, I'm not saying this as a bad thing, because there's things that I've attracted before and that I do attract to me because it helps me, maybe it's something that's pleasurable to my ego. However, the key to this is understanding that our ego, and when we become aware of our ego is doing everything it can to survive based on the reality that it perceives. Now, what this means is that the ego likes to identify and it likes to emphasize itself. Now, when somebody wants to attract a car, when somebody wants to attract winning the lottery, when somebody wants to attract a lot of money, living in a nice house, there's nothing wrong with this. However, It's coming from a level of consciousness that isn't aware yet that those things don't really bring happiness. Doesn't mean that we completely neglect the 3D reality and say, well, I'm going to go meditate in a cave. But what it comes with the realization of is, where is the energy coming from that you are using to manifest what you want in your life? Where is the energy coming from? Because towards the lower end of the scale, there'll be vibrations of the desiredness, the wanting, the desire you'll see calibrates at a certain frequency. The desire also is a symbol of lack, because if you really, really want something, you are vibrationally saying you really, really don't have it. And many people are under the notion that if they were to attract the person into their life, the money into their life, the opportunity in their life, that then they would be happy. But the truth is, those things we will continue to chase, and even once we attain them, we will just up the ante and then chase something else. So it's a level of consciousness that we stay within a repetitive cycle within until we raise beyond that. Now, the law of attraction can be used in a high vibrational state, and it can be used in a low vibrational state. My intention today is to help you understand that your goal shouldn't be to just use the law of attraction. Your goal should be to raise your vibrational state of consciousness. Because when you raise your vibration, you then have it to where your thoughts have more potency anyways. You then have it to where you're more in alignment with who you are, so therefore you perceive more opportunities that would then get you to quote-unquote where you want to be. But when you raise your vibration first, you then also start to fill up your own cup. You start to then feel in a high vibrational state, and those things are just a reflection of where you are. But in general, what you'll notice is that for a period of time, you may focus on the law of attraction, but I promise you, if you're raising your vibration, there will come a time when you start to let go of the law of attraction and to move more into states of consciousness, because you realize that they're interwoven with the law of attraction, but you realize as well that these things that we think will make us happy won't actually make us happy. There are many people that win the lottery that find this out the hard way, because almost everyone that wins the lottery ends up either addicted to drugs, loses all the money that they have, or ends up depressed. Why would that be? There are people that, I was just listening to a podcast yesterday with Michael Phelps, and he was talking about how it's such a big thing after somebody wins the Olympics, because it's very, very common for them to go into a deep depression. Because they've achieved everything that they thought they could. They had all their goals on a pedestal, they achieve it, now what? So in the same way, with your law of attraction desires, I'm not saying to completely give it up, but what I am saying is be aware of where they're coming from. Are they coming from the ego's desire to survive and to become more and to become somebody, which is a perspective that will keep us contracted? Or is it to raise your vibration, understanding that you are an immortal spiritual being living a temporary human experience, and that as you raise your vibration, you will get more of a reflection of what you want anyways, but you won't have to necessarily focus on them more. So the vibration of the law of attraction will depend upon your vibration and where you are. But let me ask you that question. What part of this scale is your desires coming from, or are you using the law of attraction? Now you'll notice that at 400 you have that of reasoning, which is the intellect. This is where we realize that beliefs create reality. I believe this is a higher level paradigm than the way most people use the law of attraction. Because many people will use the law of attraction and think of things, but unless you actually believe it to be true, it doesn't actually come into the experience. So this is a little bit deeper. This is understanding the realization that reality itself is a reflection. And when we tap into that, we tap into more of the energy of who we really are. And then in order to get to the next level, which is love, we actually must let go of all the intellect and be. And in this state, you wouldn't look and say, oh, I really, really want this. You would just acknowledge different things. You put your focus on something. It's from a different perspective. But what I am explaining and showing you is that when you move up this scale, when you let go of the desire, the wanting, the needing, when you let go of the reasons you may also want some of those, the reasons you may want some of those, maybe it's anger. Maybe you want something because somebody told you couldn't get it. So you're trying to prove them wrong. Now that can be a powerful motivator, but be aware of it. What I'm saying is, even if you use the law of attraction, just be aware from which energy you're coming from. And know that maybe instead of focusing on the law of attraction, focus on raising your vibration. And the way you raise your vibration is by healing yourself, forgiving yourself, by immersing yourself in high vibrational activities. Could be yoga, meditation, learning to observe your thoughts. You see, this body that we have is an avatar that we use for a short period of time. We are immortal spiritual beings that come to earth to have a human experience. We are born into this vehicle that we use. Then what happens is we identify with the vehicle, thinking that this vehicle is who we are. We identify with the thoughts of the ego. We identify with our five senses, and we say, this is who I am. But then what happens is we go through life, and as we start to come to more and more realization of who we really are, we raise our vibration, and many of us will go through that spiritual awakening where we understand who we are, and once we know this, we can then observe it in a new way. Then we can observe our thoughts. We can observe the things that are happening within us, knowing that the outside is just a reflection of the inside anyways. So you can use the law of attraction, but be aware from which vibration you are using the law of attraction from, being aware that you are using it from the avatar that you are currently embodying. But as you raise your vibration, you go beyond that of the ego desires. This is why a lot of what I talk on the channel about is about aligning with the universe in a divine way, because we're all connected. And a higher level paradigm perspective is understanding that we are all one, and that what you put out is what you get back, because what you do to someone else, that other someone else is another part of you. So the more value you can add to other people comes back to you very powerfully. That's a missing concept I see so often in the law of attraction. Understand the dynamics of the way our reality works. It's almost the more videos I put out, the more it comes back to me, because the more good I'm doing with what I have, with my ability to speak or whatever it is. It's almost like the universe wants to support me more because I have a more pure intention to add value. Now you could say, yes, there's the ego there. The ego wants material success, to be notarized, to be well known. But you see, what I'm telling you is if I were to go for those things, for being well known and all those things, none of this would happen, because the vibration would be from a lower vibrational paradigm. But if instead I focus on raising my vibration and bringing other people up with me, those things come anyways. The YouTube channel continues to grow. People continue to want to go to seminars and to interact with me, and because of that, more abundance comes back to me. But the initial focus should be on raising your vibration, not necessarily the ego desires. You can be aware of them. I'm aware of them. I'm aware that part of me is like, yes, it would be nice to be like a Tony Robbins one day. It would be nice to travel the world and do what I love and help other people. But at the same time, I realize that I am aligning with the universe in a powerful way and allowing this stuff to come through in that way. So become clear to yourself is what and how are you using the law of attraction? And instead of just using the law of attraction, can you bridge it with the raising your vibration? Can you bridge it with understanding that you are an immortal spiritual being living a temporary human experience? This is an avatar that you're using, but that you came here to raise your vibration, to be and work with the universe to create what you want. And as you begin to do that, your vibration will raise, you will feel better in the process, and all those ego desires will more easily be fulfilled, but you won't need them so much because you'll have already done the work. This is something that will also benefit your soul in general. So if you want a meditation that will help you to raise your vibration and your vibrational set point for how you feel, you'll see in the top of the description box below. Download it, listen to it for 21 days. I think it'll change your life. Also, if you want to interact with me on Instagram, I do Instagram lives almost every day. You'll see that right here. Plus, I do twice a day, I post native content on Instagram as well. You'll see that right there. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed this video. Feel free to like this video if you liked it. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the little notification gear so you can see the daily vids that I do. And other than that, as always, peace, much love, and namaste.